Om Shanti. This is the Sakar Murli of 2nd of August 2023. Essence. Sweet children, wake up in the early morning hours of nectar and sit in meditation. Think, I am a soul and my Baba is the master of the garden. He is the boatman and I am his child. Become a master and churn the jewels of knowledge. Question. Which one aspect is given importance by the world outside and also by the Father? Answer. That of donating. You children have to become merciful and have compassion for everyone. Give the donation of the imperishable jewels of knowledge to everyone. Donors are praised a great deal. Their names are mentioned in the newspapers. You also have to donate to others, that is, you have to teach them meditation. Song. My heart says thanks to the one who has given me support. Om Shanti. Support is given to those who are drowning. They are given support in order to take them across because the people of Bharat recognize the term the boatman. The task of a boatman is to save someone from drowning. You children understand that the boat of the people of Bharat has sunk. Every aspect applies to the people of Bharat. This cannot be said of the people of any other land. It is only you who understand this. The story of becoming a true Narayan, that is, the story of immortality, takes place here. When you sit in meditation in the early morning hours, whom do you remember? On the path of devotion, some remember one deity and others remember another. All their spiritual endeavors are inaccurate because they don't have the boatman or the master of the garden to teach them. Gurus teach people meditation and tell them what to do. They make a great deal of effort to stay in remembrance. Yoga is called spiritual endeavor. Human beings teach that to other human beings. You now understand that the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, is the gardener of this garden, that he is the master of the garden. Ravan is the master of the forest of thorns. Maya, Ravan, creates the forest of thorns. Only a few people understand your things. They forget them. Maya makes them forget. Maya creates huge obstacles when you sit in meditation. The Father also teaches you how to have meditation. You are karma yogis. You have to perform actions during the day. There is no bondage in this. They cannot have meditation during the day. During the day, there is eating, drinking, playing, dancing, and doing business, etc. They are not able to maintain remembrance whilst doing any of that. Many say that they stay in remembrance throughout the whole day. However, that would be very difficult. Baba shares his own experience. The time of the early morning hours of nectar is the purest time of all. It is easy to have remembrance at that time. The time of Amrit Vela is the best of all. There are many things that you have to attend to during the day. Yes, it is good if you are able to have constant remembrance whilst doing things. However, Baba shares his experience. I try very hard to talk to you whilst staying in remembrance of Baba. Internally, I have the intoxication. I, this Father, Prajapita Brahma, am speaking to you, children. I am the Father of the human world. I become intoxicated with this consciousness, but I find it very difficult to maintain the consciousness that I am a soul and that I am speaking to you, whilst staying in remembrance of the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul. That remembrance is very difficult. Baba shares his experience. The Father also teaches you. He, Shiv Baba, understands that he is the master of the garden. A gardener would surely create a garden. He would not create thorns. Gardener would not plant thorns. A gardener is always the master of the garden. He plants flowers. Therefore, Baba too plants flowers. It is Maya that creates the forest of thorns. By following her directions, human beings become like thorns. You have received the knowledge that Baba is the gardener. He is the boatman. He is also the merciful one, and He is the seed as well. When one sits in meditation at night, one considers this garden to be so large. Previously, it used to be very small. As well as yoga, this knowledge is also needed. Human beings don't have this knowledge. They have many types of yoga. They must be sitting and remembering someone or other. There is no question of this knowledge in that. When they sit to remember Mother Kali, only the face of Kali appears in front of them at that time. They all continue to remember Jagadamba. That is the path of devotion. Neither do they have remembrance of the Father, nor do they remember the inheritance. They performed devotion in many different ways. Some turned the beads of a rosary, some turned the beads in an incognito way. Your rosary is also incognito. They have so many customs and systems on the path of devotion. Baba has experienced this in his childhood. My father used to turn the beads of a rosary. Then, when I saw him, I too used to sit in a little room and turn the beads of a rosary. He used to chant Rama Rama, that's all. He had none of this knowledge. You children now have this knowledge. When you form the habit of sitting in this meditation in the early morning hours of nectar, you will experience a great deal of pleasure. Baba shares his experience. He also continues to churn this knowledge. This is such a huge garden. Previously, it used to be small. When you remember the seed, you would also remember the garden. How is the garden created? Baba has this knowledge, and you also have this knowledge. The whole tree enters your intellects. All of this turns around inside you. This is called meditation. You have the happiness of belonging to the Father, and you also have the happiness of this knowledge. You remember both things. Those who have the knowledge of the element of light do not sit in meditation in this way. They only remember the element of light. All they want to do is to merge into the element. They don't know the Creator or His creation, and so their ideas are totally different from those of you children. You have the knowledge that Baba is the seed. By sitting in the meditation at night, you can have very good thoughts. You can understand what you used to do on the path of devotion. People teach many types of Hatha Yoga, etc. You have now understood that by remembering the Father, you are able to remember the whole of His creation or tree. You have been around the cycle of 84 births and you are now going back home. This cycle of the drama continues to turn. You remember the wealth of this knowledge, and you also remember the one who gives you this wealth. The more you stay in remembrance, the firmer your stage will become. You can explain to anyone how you sit in meditation. Human beings receive many different instructions to remember so and so. Here, all of you are following one direction. You stay in remembrance of the one Father. Young, old, everyone receives the same direction. You have to sit in meditation. We souls cannot be the Supreme Soul. This soul says, I have completed 84 births. I now have to return home. Would the Supreme Soul say this? He doesn't take birth and rebirth. When people come to you, take them to the hall. When you see eminent people coming here to understand more, bring them here and explain to them how we sit in meditation, how we meditate in the night as well as during the day, and how we only remember the one Father. The Father's orders are remember me and remember the cycle of creation. 84 births have been also remembered. It was surely the deities who existed first. It is their 84 births that have been remembered. You have to explain the secrets of the cycle very clearly. You remember the Father and the cycle of His creation. Your intellects have remembrance of the Father and also the knowledge of the beginning, the middle, and the end of creation. We all follow one direction. We are following Srimad. The purifier Father comes and gives you your unlimited inheritance of heaven, and so you definitely have to remember the Father. It is from the Father that you claim your inheritance. Later, you fall and you become impure by the end. The Father is the Creator, and so He would surely give the knowledge of creation. God the Father is knowledgeful, the purifier. Therefore, He would definitely come into the impure world in order to purify it. If you sit and explain this to others, they will be very impressed. Tell them, don't simply say that this is good and then leave. You have to put it into practice. There is a burden of sin of innumerable births on your heads, and it takes time to remove it. You have to explain to them, Baba has come and death is just ahead. If you become careless, you will not be able to claim your inheritance. You must not delay in carrying out an auspicious task. Learn and go. By sitting in meditation, you will experience a great deal of intoxication. Now remember the Father. He is your Father, the one whom you have been remembering on the path of devotion for birth after birth. You have had a different physical father in every birth, but you still definitely remember the incorporeal Father because He is your eternal Father. You receive perishable inheritances from your physical fathers. You receive the imperishable inheritance from the imperishable Father. You become elevated by following the Srimad of the one who is doubly elevated, Sri Sri. The original eternal religion is that of the deities. The different clans emerge from that. The renunciation of sannyasis is of a semi pure level, whereas your renunciation is completely pure. This is Raj Yoga. The main scripture of Bharat is the Gita. This is Raj Yoga. As for meditation, you have to explain. The Father teaches us meditation in this way. No human being can be called God. The God of everyone has to be one. He is the purifier. He is the heavenly God, the Father. And He only comes in Bharat. A huge temple was built to Him on the path of devotion. We become elevated by following the directions of the one who is doubly elevated. Sit and understand these things. Understand the Father and the beginning, the middle and the end of His creation. No one else knows this. The duration of the golden age is shown to be just this much. When the tree is new, it is called heaven. After that, it starts to decay. This whole world is now hell. Not only every home, but the whole world too has become hell. This is a forest of thorns. They continue to prick one another. The forest has come to create the garden of Allah. The Father comes and establishes paradise. You understand what is known as the garden of flowers and what is known as a forest of thorns. You are becoming divine flowers. You should continue to have these thoughts. Baba has this knowledge, and you children also have this knowledge. By having such thoughts at night, you will experience great pleasure. You should explain in this way because those poor, helpless things do not know anything, and that is why you feel compassion for them. They call out, "O God, the Father," but they don't know the Father or His creation. We have now become the children of Allah. You should have great intoxication whilst explaining this. You have the imperishable jewels of knowledge, so you should donate them. Donors are praised a great deal. Their names are mentioned in the newspapers. It is religious minded people who give donations. You are religious minded. If you don't make this donation, what would you receive? You definitely have to donate. It is very easy to donate knowledge. Baba tells you how to sit in meditation and how the cycle of the world turns. Previously, there was one religion and other religions later then emerged. All of those are clans. These things should sit in the intellects of you children. Human beings are very interested in yoga. Tell them, come and try our meditation. Those who are religious minded will become happy when they see the meditation hall. Religious minded people never commit sin. Although you children have many points to explain, you are number wise. The locks on the intellects of some of you do not open at all. How would the lock open if you don't remember the Father? This is a very easy thing. You have to explain how you sit in remembrance. People don't even know who it is we remember. The incorporeal Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul Himself, who is the Father of all, is teaching us. He is the purifier and He is teaching us Raj Yoga. It is now up to you whether you study or not. All of us are following one direction. We are taking directions from the one who is doubly elevated. This is the aim and objective. Just as the Father is knowledgeful, so are His children. Only the one Father can change humans into deities. By having such thoughts at night, too, you will experience great pleasure. Acha, to the sweetest, beloved, long lost, and now found children, love, remembrance, and good morning from the mother, the father, Babdada. The spiritual father says Namaste to the spiritual children. Essence for Dharana. First, awaken in the early morning hours of nectar. Churn the knowledge whilst staying in remembrance. Remember the wealth of knowledge. Remember the wealth of knowledge as well as the bestower of knowledge. Second, stay in godly intoxication as you do service. Show everyone the easy way to do meditation. Remain in harmony by following one direction. Blessing. May you be an embodiment of all attainments and give everyone the experience of peace and power and with the vibrations of spiritual happiness. May you be an embodiment of all attainments and give everyone the experience of peace and power and with the vibrations of spiritual happiness. The vibrations of spiritual happiness on the faces of children who are filled with godly attainments and who are embodiments of all attainments reach all souls who also experience peace and power. Just as fruitful trees with the coolness of their shade give people coolness and they become happy, in the same way, the vibrations of your happiness with the shade of your attainments give bodies and minds the experience of peace and power. Slogan. Those who are embodiments of remembrance experience an adverse situation to be like a game. Those who are embodiments of remembrance experience an adverse situation to be like a game. अच्छा, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti.